Welcome.
Hey,
Hey.
what's up?
What's up? You've been watching the live stream?
Uh-huh.
You've been watching the discussion?
Yeah, I've been watching. I mean, I understand why. Like, it's because you're the way you're talking about it is it's confusing to the people listening because you're talking about it. See, you're condemning pedophiles, but then you're saying at the same time, don't you believe people can change?
No, I didn't say that. No. I'm going to correct you. That is not what I said, Steve. I do not believe a pedophile can change. I've never fucking said that. And that is what pisses me off about you, is that you went on your show and you and I have had this conversation. And I told you exactly what my thoughts were privately. Right? And I know you weren't speaking to me, but you just said that thing, and it's a trigger for me. Because I do not believe that somebody who could hurt a child in any fashion could ever not hurt a child.
Okay, so
You
let me ask you a
understand,
question.
right? We're clear on
Because
that.
you gave an
We can be in agreement. Hang on, you're going through a bad spot, bud.
You gave an analogy about a dog. Remember that?
I did.
People being scared of a dog?
Yes, correct.
So explain that then, because maybe that's where you threw me off there.
Right. Bandit has been accused and charged with pedophilia. Well, with a sex crime towards a child. What was the charge? What was the charge?
He wasn't accused.
What?
He pled guilty to molesting a child.
He pled guilty to it.
Pled guilty.
And went to prison, served, 6 years, and is currently still on parole, right?
Total different.
Yeah. I'm going to pull over here in a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, he's currently on parole for life. He was charged with 7 counts.
Right.
7 counts.
Right. But how normal is it for any crime when you get charged? Normally you get charged with multiple things, right? Isn't that sort of how it goes?
Not 7 individual. No. So the way it works is typically that you're charged with each count of each count is a separate crime. That's why, like a double murder, they're charged with 2 murders because they killed 2 people.
Correct.
A sex offender who is charged with 7 different counts means that they committed 7 different offenses.
Correct. Do you know what those offenses were?
Yeah, they're all molesting a child. It's all public. Everyone can look it up.
I know. But do you know the specifics? Like, I don't want details. What I just want to understand is...
I know what he was charged with, and I know what he pled guilty to.
Okay. Yes.
Hold on, I'm pulling in here. Hopefully this has better service.
Right.
Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, no, you're fine. So, on this question, only because you hear this story that is the ex-wife made it all up, right? And that the daughter, when she turned 18, said, no, he didn't do this to me. My mother made it up to get revenge. That's that story. Like, is that possible?
No.
It's not possible.
Because for one, do you know what? No, so let me explain something. The way it happens when you deal with a child, right? So when you deal with a child, when a child makes accusations like that,
yes,
they typically are sat down in front of specialized law enforcement that deal with that kind of stuff. They're put in front of shrinks. They
so
have
you know
to
that happened.
They have to describe. 100% it happened. He was charged with it. They're not going to go and charge him based on.
How it all went down. Like, I haven't been able to find the court documents. I can't find the fact what is it called? The fact that the prosecuting attorney has to present that basically tells what happened, that he was charged the way he was. I haven't been able to find any of that. And
well,
again,
it's probably not going to be online.
This isn't me protecting a pedophile. This is me just asking questions. I want to understand this.
He pled guilty.
I know he pled guilty. Can you not see a reason why you would plead guilty?
Fuck no! There's no way in hell.
Let me give you a scenario.
No, I would.
I know. Let me give you a scenario.
No.
Just something to think about, Steve. And this is not. Imagine you're being charged with insurrection and being at the Capitol on January 6th. And you know that if it goes to trial, you could get 30 years in jail for being at January 6th. Imagine that. Now, you know, and you've been offered this plea that says if you plead guilty, you will get 6 months in jail. You're not guilty. Are you willing to take that risk that you're not going to spend 30 years in jail versus going, fuck, I'm going to take 6 months because I do not want to go to jail for 30 years?
100%. I would never plead guilty to a crime I didn't commit, ever.
Even if that risk meant going to jail for 30 years? Now, I know you have the means to fight most of those things. Imagine somebody who doesn't have the means to fight that. Is it a possibility? Could you imagine being in that position?
No, I can never imagine being in that position. Never.
I couldn't.
Never.
I couldn't either.
No. Because there's just no way. And you hear so many people talking about how he is a nice person. What type of manipulative son of a bitch do you think it takes to molest a child? Probably the most manipulative. So everyone that gets on here,
very much.
Yeah, everybody that gets on here talks about how nice he is and this and that. That's all irrelevant. The guy pled guilty to molesting a child. Right. Now, the whole Frankie stuff, I don't know anything about that guy other than the fact that he did it. And I'll tell you something, because you may not have missed it, or you may have missed the show, but a lot of my viewers know it. I grew up in foster care, and when I was 15, I was declared a child in need of care and supervision. So I was put in a juvie for 15 months. I was in that juvie. I was the only one, well, there was another kid too, that was not committed for any crime. We were there because there was no foster homes available, and we burned our last bridge, essentially. I was in there with 5 people that had sexual assault charges, convictions. 5 kids, mind you.
Right.
Guess what the percentage of them that reoffended as adults?
I don't know. 100%.
4 out of the 5. The other one died.
Oh.
Because he got out and his victim killed him.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I say that they can't change, there is no. I don't care how much you believe in God. I don't care. You will never change, and no one will ever convince me that they can change. Do I believe they deserve to breathe the same air I breathe? Absolutely not.
I agree with you 100%.
Anybody that provides safe shelter or safe spaces for those people is just as guilty.
Correct. Now, with that being said, and we're in 100%, 1,000% agreement on that. We're in 1,000% agreement on that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Santa and the people at 76 do not consider him a pedophile, according to what they say. They feel exactly the same way you do, the same way I do. Now,
no, they don't. No, they don't.
No, let me finish. Give me 1 second. When I found out about Bandit, one, I was disappointed because I knew Tucker enjoyed playing with Fred, his dog, right? And I was blown away that somebody that I had been hanging around, being in and amongst the convoy, right? Traveling, And the guy that I had been talking to could have done such evil deeds to a child that I couldn't have been happier to see him leave, get thrown out of there so quickly. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, just like anybody else. I was there a question there other than
no? It's not.
Yeah,
It was that, you know, no matter how I felt about him prior to finding out he was a child molester, I couldn't have been happier that he was gone from that group, because it was no place for him to be.
Right, and that's
right.
Correct. Now that's.
All I knew was what you know. Yeah, I had seen the charges and whatnot. You know, I questioned the same thing. I'm like, what are the charges? You know, how broad are the charges? You know, what did he actually do? You know, what can you do? What's the minimum of what you could do? Like, I'm not justifying it. I'm just trying to understand how somebody, and I get it. You know, people who connive and do awful, heinous shit often aren't recognized by the people around them because they're charismatic. They don't have emotion, or they don't have empathy towards other people, which allows them to do these awful, heinous things to people. Right? I think that's what most serial killers, pedophiles, they lack empathy. If they were empathetic towards people, they wouldn't be able to do the things they do to people. Right? But, you know, my dog conversation, my dog analogy was, you know, yeah, Tucker is a dog. Is he like all the other dogs? No. He is a dog 100%. Right? Bandit is a pedophile. Right? There's no doubt about that. He's been charged and convicted with pedophilia, whatever, those 8 charges. And my point being is that
I can't tell if
if
I can't tell if it's frozen or
no. I took a pause, but it's, you know, if what he claims is true, and he was charged with something he did not do, but took that deal because he was told whatever, you know, apparently he's off fighting it, or I don't know the truth to that. I'm just these are the things that I've been hearing. But if there's a chance that he is actually not guilty and he gets his life back, do you still feel the same way about him? Is he then still a pedophile? Is that guy that served 50 years in jail for a murder he didn't commit that then gets out, is he still a convicted felon?
There's a difference, though. There's a difference, because this was a child. He wasn't railroaded by police. He wasn't railroaded by anybody else. He was charged. The accusations were levied against him by a child.
I understand.
There's a difference.
Right.
And the child must have went into descriptive detail. And it's not like he just took the first plea. He waited years, 2 years, I believe, until he pled guilty. He pled guilty to two sex assault charges out of 8 total.
Okay.
The only way he will get any vindication if he truly is innocent is when he dies. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
He'll never, and to be honest, that isn't even the bigger issue here. The bigger issue that I have, and I think what offended everybody else, is not, because everyone is pretty universal about their hatred for people that harm children. The thing that I said that ticks everybody off the most, seemingly, is the fact that I believe that anybody that provides safe harbor to a pedophile, to a sex offender, meaning that you defend them, which is what David Riddell did. It's what the majority of them, and a lot of the streamers, you are excluded from this. A lot of the streamers, the second that it comes up in their chat or their conversation, they shut it down. Why? Because it's a financial thing. If they disallow that speech, then people are not going to know about it. Therefore, they can continue fundraising, doing whatever they're doing. And that's my firm belief. That's why so many people have been opposed to actually describing what is going on there, what the controversy is. And the only reason it got mainstream. Because I'll be honest, when I found out about it, you weren't the only streamer I called.
Yeah.
But everyone already knew. Everybody that I talked to 3 separate people that were there or had been there previously, and all of them knew that this guy was a sex offender and that he was part of the group, and that there was another one that was there.
Right.
And so how anybody can go, I mean, because here's the thing, I'm a different breed. I'm the kind of person that if I find that out, it's going to take every single last bit of my inner strength not to commit a murder myself.
Correct.
Because those are the most heinous people that you can ever, and especially anybody that says they're a man of God, that could stand there and knowingly be around someone that is convicted of doing that. It's just insane. So,
and it's not possible for them to be of the belief that he is not a pedophile while simultaneously hating pedophiles.
He is a pedophile.
I understand.
You can't not believe he's a pedophile.
No,
when
I understand that, yes, he is a convicted pedophile. I'm not arguing that, nor am I denying that. I'm asking the question, which I asked to
Do you know
chat.
what happens when you plead guilty?
What? Say again?
Do you know what happens when you plead guilty?
You're found guilty?
No, you have to admit guilt in court.
Correct.
You have to admit to your crime. You have to say you're guilty. Otherwise, your plea will not be accepted.
Right. That is, yes, I understand.
So he not only did he plead guilty, he said in a court of law in front of a judge, a jury, and everybody else that he did commit those crimes.
Correct.
Otherwise, you can't plead guilty. So anybody that believes he's innocent is a moron. Because he himself said that he was guilty.
You have to in order to take that plea deal. And like I said, those 8 charges, had he taken them, would have been, 50 years in jail? I don't know. I heard he got 30 years in jail, but only did 6 years of actual jail time.
I don't know what his actual sentence was. It doesn't show that.
Right. I've heard I've heard different numbers, but I was surprised that he only did 6 years.
So Chris, let me ask you a very direct question. Do you believe he's a pedophile?
I believe he's a convicted pedophile, yes.
You've met him and interacted with him. Do you believe he's a pedophile? Or do you believe that he was railroaded and had to plead guilty?
I haven't passed judgment. See, that's the thing. Like, I know that you and I look at things very differently, right? And I'm also one of those people, like, I haven't committed crimes. I could point the finger at criminals all day long, but it's not who I am. Like, I know I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying, as somebody who is there reporting on things, here are the facts. This is what we know. This is what the story is coming from this group of people that claim that this guy is not a pedophile, that he was railroaded by his ex-wife, and that his daughter, who's now 18, or when she turned 18, said, hey, this didn't really happen the way, my mother claimed it did. I'm just stating those are the things.
Right. So you won't. You'll only say that he is just convicted. You won't say, based on how you met him, that whether or not... I
would have never guessed he was a pedophile when, like, the stereotypical pedophile in my mind drives a white van. He drove a white pickup truck. I saw him represent himself in a way with the 76 movement that actually went against what my expectations of Bandit were, as I've said multiple times. Yeah, and he didn't spend a lot of time, but, he out walking the dog. And Tennessee Patriot, I'm not taking your call. I'm sorry. But, yeah, that's, is he the person I would have imagined? No, I had him completely wrong, and he proved me wrong about that. And then I learned about him being a pedophile, convicted. And I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that. So, Renroth, thank you very much.
Do you think Santa made the correct choice in allowing a pedophile to be part of the 1776 restoration movement?
And I said that to him. I absolutely not. And under no circumstances. For one reason, I know that the people who want to shut down these sort of movements will pick up on anything they can. They will make things up in order to shut things down. This wasn't made up, but it's just, it gives them that fuel that they need, right? Because everybody that is there now is a pedophile to them.
Yeah,
right?
That's not,
even
no,
though Antifa has pedophiles with them, and they stand next to pedophiles when they, come after me, it's only the pedophiles that are in the 76 movement that matter. So you can understand where my issue is a little bit.
No, I can't at all. So because if
they
you
only
have
care when it's the other side. The people they oppose.
What do you care about, though?
Oh, I no pedophiles. I've already said it how many times? Like, we agreed on it.
So,
I don't like pedophiles either.
So why weren't you live? See, I don't want to. I like.
No, it's okay.
I'm not
say the question, because I will tell you why.
I don't understand why you weren't more vocal. Because yes, opinions are like asshole. Everyone has one. You were saying that you're trying to be neutral, but we heard you.
Right.
We heard you talking patriotic things, talking about freedom with other people. There were times you stepped out of that independent journalist and moved into the activist.
I'll tell you what.
Why didn't anybody stand before these boneheads did it?
Well, for me, I can only speak for myself. Now, here's the thing. For me, right, the cancel culture, and I take this back to the cancel culture as an example, right? They want to shut everybody down they disagree with, right? I believe in law and order, right? And if he is there lawfully, who am I to tell him where he can and cannot be, right?
You are an American, right?
And
a dad.
I have that freedom to speak out. You're absolutely correct, right? I'm there in a capacity of documenting. You want me to go to jail for a pedophile? You go to jail for a pedophile.
Who's saying anything about going to jail?
No, but when you assault
would I go to jail to beat up a pedophile? Absolutely, gladly, absolutely, 100%.
Enjoy jail. I don't find them worth the time, right? And in my world, he went to jail. He did his time. Right? He did his time. The sheriff said
he didn't do enough time.
I agree. 100%. But we're at that point now where the criminal justice system has penalties for people who commit crimes against children. If I want to do something, I'm going to go out and I'm going to protest for stiffer crimes against children. I think more people, or these pedophiles, need to do far more time. I don't think they should have their freedom, right? But I'm not going to, it's not my place. And I don't, that's just my feeling, right? And I'm there documenting, right? I asked the questions, I did my thing, the law decides, right? That's how this country works, no? Doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
But the law decides. It's not up to me, it's not up to you. We can try to get those laws changed. We can try to get the death penalty. I'd love to see a lot of people get the death penalty.
So, well, you say it's not up. So how do you change things, right? Because isn't the whole protest about making change and standing up for your values and what you believe in?
Correct.
And here's the problem, and this is why I question everybody that's part of that movement now. If you all believe unilaterally that pedophiles don't deserve to breathe the same air that everyone else breathes, and shouldn't have.
They agree with you too. They don't think those two guys are pedophiles for the reasons we've talked about. That is the difference, Steve.
Then that should make every single person that follows that group weary of that group so much more. If they honestly believe that a child will.
I understand,
anymore.
Steve. But you now, I think, kind of understood my point. Is that they don't?
No, I don't, Chris. I'm so far from understanding your points. I'll be honest. I'm so far away from understanding your point. Or any point of view with this whole thing.
A number of people don't. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion, because no one supports pedophiles.
Every single...
You don't, I don't.
Well, yes,
Santa doesn't.
Every single person that's part of that 1776 restoration movement that was there and knew that Marcus Kopach was a pedophile and did not immediately physically escort him out of there is complicit and is responsible. And they have a responsibility as parents. Fuck streaming, fuck reporting the news, fuck doing anything. If you know that there is a person that is not allowed to be, that the note he got from the PO, that note was a blanket authorization from the Marion County Probation and Parole that said he is allowed to be around children only under the direct supervision of adults. Why anybody would believe that person, someone that needs adult supervision, a grown person needs adult supervision to be around children, and allows that person there, they're all supporting, they are all groomers based on the definition that I call groomers. And that's my belief. It's not going to change, no matter how many conversations we have about it. And that's why tonight's video was supposed to be the end of it, because the 1776 restoration movement, no matter what, it's not a protest anymore. It's kind of like a cult. Seems like a cult to me, and it has that cult
and the
feeling.
left loves you. Thank you very much for keeping that cult thing going. Because I don't know if you've noticed how cults have been used, like racist and fascist and all these other things, to attack people, right? By definition, we've gone through it on my stream. They don't match a cult. It is not a cult. But
how do they not match a cult? They're trying to buy a compound, dude.
Yeah, but
they're trying to get a compound so they can all live there together. Come on,
property doesn't make it a cult, Steve. Come on, man. You know that.
Oh, come on, dude.
But look,
the things that they're saying, the topics that they're talking about, and it's okay because your definition of a cult may be different than mine.
It's not.
What
it's
I
going
think
based
is that
on
group should disband.
Right.
What's that?
Should the group disband? I think it's over. I think they need to go home to mentally and for their own health find a new beginning and revitalize. They're not going to grow. They're not going to build doing what they're doing right now. They have damaged that movement so much, and Santa's acknowledged that he made mistakes. They're not going to be able to come back from those mistakes. They can't. No. There's no doing it. But every freedom movement from here on out is going to be destroyed for the same reasons. Because
it won't. As long as they don't allow pedophiles to be in their groups.
No. It has nothing to do with Steve. It has nothing to do with pedophiles. It has nothing to do with them chanting or sitting in lawn chairs in a park. It has everything to do with, it's about freedom, and it's about the pro-America idea, America first. It's about all of those things, the American flag and securing borders and constitutional republic, that those people who do not want that have this woke agenda are going to fight against every single time. It doesn't matter. It represents everything they hate, whether it has a pedophile in it or not.
That 1770. That group represents almost everything that I hate right now, to be completely honest.
I disagree with a lot of it too, Steve.
I've listened to their rhetoric. I've listened to how they talk to women, especially the other opposing women that are protesting. Whether or not they're left or right, it doesn't matter. There's no way a grown man should talk down to a woman ever. But yet that group and some of the streamers, they consistently and repeatedly do it, which is... there's nothing good about that group. You
Yeah,
know?
so-
And today, like I said, this one's going to be the end.
Right.
You know, you sent me a text. I heard you saying I can get my own interviews. I'm glad you didn't put me on, because if you do have a relationship with Santa, you would have lost it that day.
No,
because
but
I
it's
don't
not
like him.
about
I
that.
think he is.
You know how hard it is to do a stream, Steve, and keep all this shit going. I had 3 people in already, plus one on the phone, and I'm like, if you had texted me and said, "Hey, this is what I want to do," I'd been great, let's do it. But I would have gotten rid of everybody. I would have brought you in with Santa. I'm not.
I was doing the
you
same-
and I
same thing.
have
I was
way
doing
more
the
background than anybody else.
I was driving.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're good. Dude, I don't think any less of you. I'm tired of all this stuff. I'm tired
me
of fake
too,
patriots
man.
more than
Me
anything
too.
else. I'm tired of the word patriot. It's so overused by people that are grifting, that people that are manipulating, and I don't like it anymore. I really don't. And I had a lot of high hopes, and I talked about it in length in my video today on what the original People's Convoy could have been, and also my idea of what is encroaching on my freedom is apparently far different than a lot of people's.
Yeah.
Because frankly, I'm an American. I'm my own person. I don't blindly follow